Conflicts are at the base of project management. In order to fully understand this sentence, we first need to define what conflicts are. A conflict is a process that begins when one party perceives that another party has negatively affected or is about to affect negatively something that the first party cares about. According to this definition, conflicts are not fights nor arguments, but processes to solve situations in which two or more individuals disagree about the decision to be made because one's proposal is perceived by the others as detrimental for their own objectives or beliefs. Please note that to have a conflict, you do not even have to do anything. Just the perception that the counterpart is about doing something is enough to trigger the conflictual process. Starting from this definition, it is easy to see that conflict management is at the core of project management. Projects can be modeled as arrays of decisions to make. The project teams are most likely composed of members working in different functions with different objectives and perspectives about the decision to make. It is important to say that conflicts are not only inevitable, but even good for projects. When project teams do not have conflicting views, is more often a mark of overconformity, or, even worse, a lack of trust and psychological safety that brings individuals not to express their real thoughts. It is proven that teams with a too low level of conflict are poor performing, as well as teams with too many conflicts. The latter because they cannot manage the process and get to a shared decision. The former because decisions are not really discussed and processed, but just passively accepted. By solving the conflicts in a creative way, we can get to an unexpected and better results. Hardly great successes are gained without finding a way to reconcile strong and contrasting points of view. So, in project management, the objective is not to avoid conflicts, but to have an effective and efficient process to solve them. The Thomas Kilmann conflict mode instrument is designed to assess an individual behavior in conflict situation. It describes a person's behavior along two basic dimensions: assertiveness, the extent to which the individual attempts to satisfy her own concerns, and cooperativeness, the extent to which the individual attempts to satisfy the other person's concerns. 5 specific methods of dealing with conflicts are designed by crossing these two basic dimensions. The first conflict handling mode we analyze is the competing one. Competing is assertive and uncooperative, a power-oriented mode. When competing, an individual pursues her own concerns at the other person's expense, using whatever power seems appropriate to win her position. Competing might mean standing up for your rights, defending a position you believe is correct, or simply trying to win. In short, we can describe the competing mode using the claim, "It is my way or no way." The second conflict handling mode we analyze is the accommodating one. Accommodating is unassertive and cooperative, the opposite of competing. When accommodating, an individual neglects her own concerns to satisfy the concerns of the other person. There is an element of self-sacrifice in this mode. Accommodating might take the form of selfless generosity or charity, obeying another person's order when you would prefer not to, or yielding to another point of view. In short, we can describe the accommodating mode using the claim, "Have it your way." The third conflict handling mode we analyze is the avoiding one. Avoiding is unassertive and uncooperative. When avoiding, an individual does not immediately pursue either her own concerns or those of the other person. She just does not address the conflict. Avoiding might take the form of diplomatically sidestepping an issue, postponing an issue until a better time, or simply withdrawing from a threatening situation. In short, we can describe the avoiding mode using the claim, "Can we talk another time?" The fourth conflict handling mode we analyze is the collaborating one. Collaborating is both assertive and cooperative, the opposite of avoiding. When collaborating, individuals attempt to work with the other person to find a solution that fully satisfies both concerns. It involves digging into an issue to identify the two individuals' underlying concerns and find an alternative that meets both the sets of concerns. Collaborating between two persons might take the form of exploring a disagreement to learn from each other's insights and trying to find a creative solution to an interpersonal problem. In short, we can describe the collaborating using the claim, "We both shall win." Finally, the fifth conflict handling mode we analyze is the compromising one. Compromising is intermediate in both assertiveness and cooperativeness. When compromising, the objective is to find a mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both parties. Compromising falls on a middle ground between competing and accommodating, giving up more than the competing but less than accommodating. Likewise, it addresses an issue more directly than avoiding, but does not explore it as much in depth as in collaborating. Compromising might mean splitting the difference, exchanging concessions, or seeking a quick middle ground position. In short, we can describe the compromising mode using the claim, "Let's split the difference."